Democrats continue to celebrate Joe Biden's win. Does this spell a new dawn for America? Joining me to unpack this is, of course, Alethea Bonello. She is the Director of Programs for the African American Center for Global Politics. Alethea, good evening and thank you very much for joining us on the news feed late night. You know, for South Africans, many of them, seeing from the reaction that we've been getting on social media, the election of the vice president, I would say, has been more historic than the election of the president. And I'm sure this is the situation also in the United States. First black woman, first African Asian American woman to be vice president, certainly breaking a number of barriers, does it not?
It certainly does. We're excited that a woman born of immigrants can now ascend to the second most powerful position in America. It is exciting because representation matters. It is a culmination of the hard work of so many black women across this country who have believed in America and worked for America. And now we have that representation. It also shows that decency matters, that we can still believe and have hope and faith in America, and America did not disappoint. And that is in large part to the tremendous outpouring of African American support at the ballot box for Biden and Harris.
Yeah, it's the second highest position in the world, second highest position in the country. Certainly a new face for political power in America. What does this mean and how does it play out in terms of leadership and what leadership looks like going forward in America?
Well, both for leadership and advocacy, here we have someone who is going to be at the tables of power and position to be able to speak on behalf of black and brown men and women and children about the plight of what's going on in rural and in lower and middle class America. It also means that she can articulate not only what's going on in her community as an African American woman, but also as a Jamaican American, as an Asian American, and being a person of color that can speak in these hallowed halls. We're excited because she can lend her legal expertise to talk about policy on criminal justice reform and policing, as well as a myriad of issues that deal with climate change, also the economy, and how can we move forward and handle the coronavirus even better in this new administration.
Talk to us about this new administration, but also in relation to the past administration and the influence of black women in the U.S. democracy, in particularly how you would look at the Trump era and the gender barriers that existed there, but also talk about the racial relations of that era and how this new administration brings about something new.
As we saw in this current administration, there was a lot of racial divisiveness throughout the country that even the FBI talked about the increase in white terrorist groups in America. And now what we are seeing, and also to your point about representation, we did see a few African American women in the administration, but not really in key pivotal places of decision making within the administration. As juxtaposed now that, of course, we see Kamala Harris as vice president of these United States. In his acceptance speech, Biden talked about healing this America, moving forward not as a nation divided, but as a nation united under one cause. And so we are anticipating additional racial reconciliation and healing in America in this next administration.
She had a bit of a hectic start if you're talking about the primary process, and it revealed a lot, one would say, about the conscious and the unconscious biases that exist in America's politics. Would you not say so?
Oh, certainly. But it also brought to the fact that there is power in the African American vote. Biden has already given thanks to Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, who was able to save his primary candidacy. And then it was African Americans, black women, Divine Nine, organizations throughout this country that helped deliver this vote.
Women in power, right? Respect for their intellect, respect for their womanhood, respect for their individuality. Is that the kind of administration we can look forward to? Are those the values that are brought on by the Biden administration?
Certainly. It was proud to see Kamala Harris in her white suffragist suit, representing that it was only 100 years ago that women had the right to vote in America. And so, yes, representation does matter, and it will matter in this administration. We saw that a senior advisor in Biden's campaign was an African-American woman, just 35 years old. So Simone was able to give us representation at the table as decisions were being made during the candidate campaign. But I'm sure we will see more Black women in this administration that we've ever seen before.
Talk to us about Kamala Harris and her background. And we know and we've seen throughout her campaign that she really wore the identity of who she is pretty much in front, and she was not hiding that. She would talk about things that are really experienced by Black Americans in America right now, or Indian Americans in America right now. But give us a little bit of background and history to her.
I'm so excited that I share so many things with Kamala Harris. As you see, I'm representing with my Jamaican earrings today because of her father's parentage, of Jamaican parentage, being of South Asian descendancy from her mother, being a Black woman in America, going to Howard University, a historically Black college and university, and showing up unapologetically as a Black woman in America, in the DA's office, as the state attorney general, and as a senator from California, and now vice president. Kamala Harris also made mention and thanked so many of these groups who are pivotal to who she is. She is just not a monolith, but she is a complex and varied woman that represents all of who she is to America. And we're excited about what that representation will mean in the hallowed halls of the White House.
Yeah. Now, past vice presidential candidates, including Joe Biden himself, have faced a lot of heat, largely due to their own mistakes and campaign missteps. What is the heat likely to be faced by Kamala Harris in that office?
Well, I think she is going to be there are a lot of things that people will continue to say about her in terms of her past records, but I think she will, regardless of what heat she takes, as we saw in the vice presidential debate, she handles it well. And when she feels that she is not being heard, she can simply say, I'm speaking. And now, as vice president-elect of these United States, I'm sure people will be listening. Kamala Harris is one that can navigate through so many different circles and is able to articulate the issues and the pains, and is always willing to go to bat for what she believes in. So I'm excited, regardless of what issues may come her way, she will rise to the challenge and she will be able to persevere and persist.
If we move just slightly away from Kamala, but talk broadly now about the events that are taking place in the United States. Many in South Africa still watching. We're seeing the mudslinging going on. We still see Trump digging in his heels, pretty much defiant. And many people are asking, how long is this going to go on? Is it ever going to end?
Certainly, we do believe it's going to end. We know that on December 14th, the Electoral College will convene and will be casting their votes. So we hope that all of these legal challenges that he has filed in various states will be cleared up by then. There are some legal challenges that he filed last week that have already been dismissed, and so we're awaiting what happens with the others. In addition, we've already heard that Georgia has triggered an automatic recount, and so it is taking a while, but I'm excited that Americans have been patient and allowed the elections process to go as it is mandated in the law. And so, yes, there is fatigue, but we want it to be a fair electoral process.
The new perspective that is brought onto the leadership of Biden and Harris, certainly fundamentally different to that of Donald Trump. But in terms of the perspective that they bring, the vast experience that Biden brings, what does that mean for international relations?
I think that's one of the first things that he will have to do is to repair the relations across the world, whether it be rejoining the Paris Accords, whether it be to rejoin the World Health Organization, as well as repair the relationship with the United Nations. I really believe that that will be one of Biden's first priorities as he enters into the White House in January.
Alethea, I appreciate your time and thank you for sharing that with us this evening. Alethea Bonello, Director of Programs for the African American Center for Global Politics.